Welcome. We're diving deep today into a stack of sources you sent us about green tech innovations, stuff aimed at environmental sustainability.
Yeah, it's a really exciting space.
Our mission basically is to pull out the key bits for you, the most interesting developments, without you having to wade through everything, a shortcut.
Exactly. We've got material covering, well, everything from renewable energy generation, solar, wind, geothermal, the works,
Right.
to making energy systems smarter, cleaner transport, even how we handle waste. Think circular economy.
And the sources touch on things like solar cells hitting new records, wind turbines getting massive, even floating ones.
And enhanced geothermal, EVs, sustainable fuels.
Mm.
It's a lot.
So what's pushing all this forward?
Well, obviously climate change is the big one,
Yeah.
but also resource scarcity and quite a bit of policy momentum too, like the Paris Agreement, the U.S. IRA.
Got it. And we should probably keep an eye out for things like AI's role, life cycle impacts, funding, that kind of stuff.
Definitely. Those are recurring themes. Okay, so where should we start? Energy generation.
Yeah, let's jump into that. Solar power seems like there are some big steps happening there. Perovskites, tandem cells.
Oh, absolutely. We're seeing some really impressive efficiency numbers. LONGi hitting nearly 35% with a tandem cell. That's huge.
Wow. So that potentially pushes past what traditional silicon can do.
That's the hope, getting more power from the same space. But there are hurdles.
Like what?
Well, making them last. Durability is key. And some designs use lead, which raises concerns. Plus, scaling up manufacturing affordably.
Right. But the overall environmental picture looks good, lower emissions.
Generally, yes. Compared to fossil fuels, the life cycle emissions are lower, and the energy payback time is pretty quick. Improving durability just makes them even more sustainable.
Okay. And wind. You mentioned bigger turbines.
Massive ones. We're talking 15, even 20 megawatts or more. And floating offshore wind is really taking off. Allows access to deeper waters.
Like that project powering oil platforms, Hywind Tampen.
Exactly. But floating wind brings its own challenges, building them, maintaining them way out at sea. It's complex.
And offshore wind generally, still expensive upfront, right? Permitting hurdles.
Yeah, capital intensity is high. Grid connections can be tricky too.
Right.
And we have to manage the environmental side, like impacts on birds and marine ecosystems.
But good for jobs.
Potentially significant job growth, yeah. Though the type of labor might shift, local supply chains become really important there.
Okay, what about geothermal? Enhanced geothermal systems, or EGS.
Right, EGS. This is about unlocking geothermal basically anywhere, not just in specific volcanic hotspots, creating reservoirs and hot rock underground.
How's that progressing?
Pretty well, actually. Companies like Fervo are using advanced drilling tech, kind of borrowed from oil and gas,
Oh, okay.
and getting really good flow rates. Utah 4G is also doing crucial research here. It promises reliable 247 clean power.
But challenges remain, I assume. Cost, risk.
Definitely. High upfront costs, drilling risks, permitting complexity, and you have to manage things like potential induced seismicity. Technical hurdles still exist.
Gotcha. Any other renewables worth a quick mention? Wave. Tidal.
They're still pretty early stage, mostly pre-commercial. Cost and surviving the ocean environment are big factors. Advanced biomass and waste to energy are interesting too, especially with plasma gasification. Fits into that circular economy idea.
Right, using waste streams. Okay, so generating clean power is one thing. What about using it smarter? Energy efficiency.
Crucial, often called the first fuel. We need improvements everywhere, buildings, industry, transport. But progress has apparently slowed down globally. Things like split incentives can be a barrier.
And we need a smarter grid to handle all these renewables, yeah.
Absolutely. Smart grids are essential. Think smart meters, sensors, automation, even AI to manage the fluctuating supply from wind and solar. Demand response is part of that too.
Paying people to use less power sometimes.
Basically, yeah. Making the demand side more flexible. Grid congestion is a major bottleneck we need to fix, though.
And storage. That feels critical.
It is. Demand is booming. Lithium-ion batteries dominate now, costs have come down, but there are those mineral supply chain worries.
So alternatives.
Lots of work on flow batteries, good for longer storage durations, easier to scale and recycle. Solid state is promising for the future, maybe safer, denser. And sodium-ion as a potentially cheaper option.
Long duration storage seems key for lots of renewables.
Definitely. Getting cost-competitive storage that lasts hours, days, or even longer is a major goal.
Okay, let's switch to transport. EVs.
Market's growing incredibly fast. Battery tech is improving constantly, more range, faster charging. CATL, BYD, they're pushing boundaries. Sodium ion is popping up here too.
Charging infrastructure keeping up.
That's the billion-dollar question. Needs massive expansion. Ultra-fast charging helps, but we need more chargers everywhere, and they need to work together smoothly.
And the battery life cycle. Production, recycling.
Super important. EV batteries have a manufacturing footprint, involves critical minerals, so efficient recycling to recover lithium, cobalt, nickel is vital. Second life uses too.
What about the really tough sectors? Planes and ships.
Yeah, hard to abate. Sustainable aviation fuel, or SAF, is a big focus. It's a drop-in fuel, which helps. Can cut life cycle emissions significantly.
But it's expensive
Yeah.
and not much available yet.
Exactly. Cost is high, production needs scaling up massively, and ensuring the feedstocks are genuinely sustainable is critical. Green hydrogen is another possibility. For shipping, maybe aviation eventually, heavy trucks too.
Hydrogen has its own challenges, though, right? Infrastructure, cost.
Big challenges. Production cost, storage, transport, maybe using ammonia as a carrier. It's still early days for hydrogen and transport on a large scale.
Okay, last big area, waste and the circular economy.
Right. Moving beyond just landfill. Advanced techniques like gasification or chemical recycling to break down plastics into their basic components.
Like that Eastman example, turning polyester waste back into new material.
Precisely. Claiming a lower carbon footprint than making it from scratch shows the potential to recover value from complex waste streams we currently struggle with.
And this ties into broader circular economy ideas.
Yeah, designing products different from the start, thinking about repair, remanufacturing, business models like product as a service, sharing platforms, using recycled content. It's a whole system change.
Still faces barriers, though. Cost, consumer habits.
All of the above. Economic hurdles, supply chain changes, getting consumers on board, supportive policies, refining the technologies. It's a work in progress.
So wrapping this all up, it seems like there's just a ton of innovation happening everywhere in green tech.
There really is. The potential is definitely there for a more sustainable path. But the key is scaling these things up, making them affordable, building the infrastructure, and getting the policies right. Overcoming those challenges is the next big step.
Makes sense. So a final thought maybe for you listening in. Considering everything we've touched on, solar, wind, storage, EVs, circular economy, which of these do you think might have the biggest impact on your own life or your industry, say, in the next 10 years?
Yeah. And what other questions does all this spark for you about where technology and, well, our planet are heading? Lots to think about.